Hey, hi, hello, welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Shannon. How you doing? Nice to meet you. I hope you're doing so very well. Today I have my December TBR plans, what I plan to read in December. It's the last month of the year, so it's going to be a bit of a different kind of TBR, but I hope you enjoy it. Let me know in the comments if you've read any of these books. Without further ado, let me tell you what I plan to read. For the first part of December, I plan on catching up with series or completing series that I've already started. So one series I want to stay up to date with is the Bright Falls series. So I will be reading Astrid Parker Doesn't Fail. This is the sequel to Delilah Green Doesn't Care, and in this we follow Astrid, who in the first one is Delilah's stepsister, I believe, or half-sister. Can't remember which one, but it's one of them. They're related somehow. And this is Astrid's story, and obviously coming off of the first book, I can't really tell you much about this one because it will spoil the events in the first book, but I will say that I am really excited to see more of Astrid as a character because she was interesting in the first book, but I feel like obviously it wasn't her book, so we didn't get much of her, even though she played quite a big role in the first one. And I am really interested to see what Astrid does next, and also like the dynamic between Astrid and Delilah. I would like to see more of that, see how it changes and grows in the second book. And the friend group is just so cute, and I really enjoy being in this world, so I'm definitely wanting to prioritize this in December. Similar to Astrid Parker Doesn't Fail, I would like to read Act Your Age, Eve Brown. I don't own this physically yet. I do own the other two physically. I plan on buying this one for December. And this is the final book in the Brown's Sisters trilogy, and I'm so looking forward to this. I enjoyed Get a Life Chloe Brown and Take a Hint Annie Brown, and I enjoyed Take a Hint Annie Brown just slightly more than Get a Life Chloe Brown. So I'm wondering if the third book will be even better, and I'm just excited to return to this world. Again, similar to the Bright Falls, it follows such a good group of characters. It follows sisters, and it follows their like what they get up to, their mischievous lifestyles, and it's just fun and entertaining, and I really hope that the last one is just as good as the other two, and then I can close out this trilogy and move on and try some of Talia Hibbert's other books, because there's other books I want to read from this author, but I want to prioritize like the series I've already started. So one book and I will be finished this series, which feels really nice. I do plan on making a vlog of me continuing or completing series for the end of the year, so if you're interested to see me complete some series and knock off some goals, then subscribe and hit the bell and you will be notified for when that video comes out. I'm really excited to read some of these and just feel the accomplishment of getting some series off my list, because I recently made a spreadsheet of all my series, and somehow since 2016 I've managed to start 61 series. I have DNF'd I think 16 of them, but I still have like 13 series left on my list that I need to complete or I'm still reading. So knocking off some of these books and completing these series means that I'm going to go into the new year with less series, which feels really nice. So yeah, if you're interested in that vlog, that will be coming soon. Another thing I would like to do in December is to reread some favourites and see if they still actually are favourites, because I haven't read some books in a while, and you know, when you give something a 5-star, if you give a 5-star 5 years ago, there's no guarantee that that's going to be a 5-star now, because it's been so long, your reading taste change, your mind changes. So I want to go back and visit some books and see if they're still favourites. The first book for this, I'm going to read Birthday by Meredith Russo, and this follows Eric and Morgan, and they are best friends, and it follows them every year on their birthday. So it's a love story 16 years in the making, and it's just about friendship and growth and discovering your true self and the real people in your life. And the first time I read this, I bawled like a baby, and I want to see if it still evokes that emotion on a reread, and to see if this is still 5 stars. Like, I can't see why it wouldn't be. Maybe the first time I read it, like, the emotion was strong because it was so new to me, but it's been a while since I read this now. I read it when it came out. So it would have been 2019. So I've read it about 3 years ago now, and I don't remember huge amounts of the ending. I remember the story and the characters, but I remember the end exactly how it ends, but I can't remember like the build up of the third act. So, which is the part that I got really emotional at. So I want to reread it to refresh my memory on the emotion that I felt, and I really hope that it does it justice even on a second time read. So yeah, this is one that I would like to reread. The next book I have for this is one that I need to do because I have read this series about halfway and then I stopped reading it, and now when I pick up the next book, it's been too long since I read the last book that I'm starting to forget things. So the book is Throne of Glass by Sarah J Maas. I know I'm super late to this, but I have read up to Empire of Storms, but I left time in between the last book and Empire of Storms. So when I picked up Empire of Storms, I was like, whoa, I don't remember anything from the last book because it had been about a year. So I want to go back, and one of my goals in 2023, sneak peek at one of my goals, is to finally complete this series because it's been on my list for ages. I'm a huge Sarah J Maas fan. I've read all of her other work, and I feel like this is the only thing that's stopping me from having read her whole catalogue. And I want to know like what happens. Even though I've been mildly spoiled for some things, I still need to know what happens. I do really enjoy this world and these characters, not as much as ACOTAR or Crescent City, but then I feel like maybe I would enjoy it if I read them back to back instead of leaving months in between reading them, or even possibly years in between reading them. So this is definitely something that I want to reread in December so that in 2023 I can continue the series and finally have read this book and this series and just live my best life. So I'm doing this in December. This will be my third time reading this book because I am a mess and I've tried, but I definitely want to make this a priority in 2023. So if I read this in December, it kickstarts that off. Similar to Throne of Glass, but not quite as dramatic, I would like to reread Chain of Gold because I have put Chain of Iron on like 3 TBRs this year and I've never picked it up. And I think the reason that I haven't picked it up, being brutally honest, is because I don't remember much of the first book. So I think that if I reread this, it will then give me the push to pick up Chain of Iron. And also, because the third book gets released in January, I think it is, I can read this in December, read the second one in January, and then read the third one in February, close out this trilogy, and they'll be back to back enough that I will want to pick them up and not feel like disassociated from the world. Because I think my issue is I kept putting Chain of Iron on my TBR, and then when I went to pick it up, I was just so out of the world, and it's been so long since I've read Shadowhunter books that when I went into it, it just wasn't doing it for me. So I think I need to reread this in order to enjoy the rest of the trilogy. So similar, if I read this in December, I will then be able to continue into 2023 and knock this off my list as well. This was like a super short, fun TBR video. I feel like when you're just picking books because of like goals and like just picking them because you want to pick them, TBRs go so easy. Like I normally play a TBR game, which will be coming back in 2023. I think I'm going to do it bi-monthly though, because I struggled with my TBR game, and I think I'm going to make just little changes throughout the year of next year. The first change will be that I will be doing it every second month instead of every month, because that then makes it easier for me to make videos and choose books at will for videos instead of having to focus down on picking a book for a prompt every month. So I hope this enables me to make more videos that I want to make because I can choose books at my leisure. So that's the first change. The second change, which is I play my TBR game, and once I hit 20 points, I get to do a book haul. which didn't really, it worked for like the first half of this year, but it didn't really work in long term because I kept just buying books because I am a book hoarder, you know, I'm gonna buy books when I see pretty ones. So I think next year what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that I'm only buying books when I have completed my TBRs. So for example, in January, if I choose to not play my TBR game and just mood read, then I will try not to buy 8 books that month. And this is not including pre-orders or book boxes, because they're already like gonna be coming to me anyway. It means that I'm not going out my way to buy books. So there's that. And then in February, if I play my TBR game and I complete my TBR game in February, all of the books, then I get to have a haul, which won't necessarily be like a big haul on this channel. It will be like I get to buy myself a couple of books and accumulate them over a couple of months and then do a big haul on the channel. But I feel like this way it gives me more leisure to mood read and also still play my TBR game that I love and created. So there is going to be that change in the new year. And with that change, there will probably be more vlogs, more themed vlogs, and just more changes on my channel because I have more freedom. I hope you enjoyed this video. This is currently my TBR for December. We also have Act Your Age Eve Brown that's going to be added on to this list. I feel like it's such a nice list because even though it's like 5 books, and one of them's a chunk, it feels like really completable, and I'm excited to reread and get to some of the book series that I want to complete. So yeah, that is my TBR for December. I hope you enjoyed this video. Remember to stay safe, happy and healthy, and I will see you next time. Bye!